After maxing out the MP7 and unlocking all attachments for this weapon, I've spent a long time testing different weapon loadouts, and I think I found the perfect weapon loadout, the perfect MP7 build for xDefiant. Now, this is going to basically give you a massive advantage over any other player, unless they do the same thing but with the Vector, but then they're going to need to hit every shot basically. So it's basically the strongest weapon in the game in terms of time to kill, full auto anyway, besides the Vector, with these attachments on, and it also has the fastest movement speed in the game, which allows you to basically move around faster than anybody else, strafe faster, dodge more bullets, and just stay alive longer, which is really important in a game which has really low time to kill. Now, this build is also going to allow you to get in and out of cover quickly, so you can heal up when you're taking too many shots, as you're seeing in a lot of this footage here. And I'll show you what items this build uses first. And I just want to talk quickly about a couple things about this build. You may have noticed I don't have an optic, and also I don't even have a magazine. I realized that whilst I was going for the quick mag on almost every single item in the game, I started to notice that I was reloading when I didn't even need to. I was reloading when I only had half a mag left. I was reloading when I killed almost every single player, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But the truth is, the quick mag saves you 0.3 seconds of time, which, you know, is important. But I found that if I just use my movement to make sure I was behind cover first, it didn't make much of a difference, which allowed me to get access to even more movement speed. And then when you take into consideration that we don't have an optic either, you can get even more movement speed stacked up. So this thing is insanely fast, and it also has higher time to kill than the base MP7. Yes, you don't have an optic, but honestly, the iron sights on this thing aren't bad, and I think that a lot of people will really appreciate what the iron sights have to offer. So, the first part of the build, starting with the muzzle. Now, there are a lot of choices for the muzzle, but I'm going for the muzzle booster because you get that 2.5% rate of fire increase. Now, 2.5% doesn't sound like much, but when you realize the rate of fire for the SMGs is so high anyway, 2.5% does make quite a considerable difference, as you can see on screen right now. I think a lot of the other attachments for the SMG, at least the muzzle, just don't really make sense. Recoil control, not a big deal. Minimap visibility doesn't matter. Extra short and medium range, this is something that could work. Having a little bit more longer range damage on an SMG could be useful, especially on some maps. But for me, the muzzle booster makes all the difference in terms of how much damage you're dealing. And it also pairs really well with the next item, the rapid fire barrel. This is another 5% rate of fire increase. So in total, you have 7.5% rate of fire increase, and you can see how that affects the stats. It's really quite good. I did take a look and even practiced a little bit with the heavy one, but that actually reduces the overall time to kill. Increases the time to kill. So it takes longer to kill an opponent because you get more weapon damage, sure, but you get less rate of fire, and it's quite a considerable amount. 10% rate of fire on a high rate of fire weapon is a big chunk of lost damage. I also tried the lightweight barrel because I thought maybe the plus 5% movement speed would be nice, but I realized I could use other attachments to really take advantage of that, although this one would be pretty fun to try at some point. I decided that the 2 rate of fire increase attachments made sense, at least for now. If I did another MP7 build, I may try to do this to get even more movement speed, because you can see in this footage how quickly we're moving already. I can't imagine how much better it would be with the lightweight barrel on it. If you'd like to see that, do let me know. Now, for the front rail, there are so many different choices. First things first, I didn't want to go for the laser. I did feel like the laser wasn't worth it. We are building essentially ADS movement speed. So when we're fighting, we want an ADS. So there's no point us hip firing at all. Even with this thing on, the hip fire is still pretty terrible. So you have a few different options for ADS walking speed, which is the stat we're really trying to go for. But there's only really one that stands out, to be honest. It's the lever wrap, because it has plus 15%, which is the highest number of ADS walking speed available, right? So obviously, we're going to go for that one. And then, yes, I didn't get any optics. I didn't get a magazine. You may decide you want to. And if you do, then the best option is to get rid of the lever wrapped grip, because this one has 10% ADS walking speed. And that's the smallest bonus ADS walking speed out of all of the items in this build. So if you really want an optic or you really want that mag, then get rid of this one first, and then you have a bit more room to add another attachment. And then finally we have the stock. Now we could have gone for removed, which gives us more movement shoot time and more movement speed, but I decided it's better to go for lightweight because we're going for ADS walking speed. So in total, we have massive boost in ADS walking speed, which ideally essentially means whenever we're ADSing, our movement, whether we're walking, jumping, strafing, everything is faster. And that's great because we really want to spend as much time as we can shooting the opponent. There's no point us running around whilst we're not shooting them, because I feel like dealing damage is a bit more important than trying to dodge damage in this game. So if we can deal damage whilst ADSing and still have good strafing, then that's perfect. Now, if you feel like this MP7 build doesn't fit your playstyle, then it may be that it needs some adjustments. This MP7 that I have built essentially focuses on two things. First, allowing you to deal more damage and have a faster time to kill than most other players, which is going to be big. It's basically going to mean if you face another player and they face you, you both shoot at the same time, you're going to win unless you miss too many shots. But, you know, the gun isn't going to fix that problem, unfortunately. Now, the second thing about this, once again, is the movement speed. It's focusing specifically on ADS movement speed. So if you ADS, you're going to have better strafes and probably dodge more bullets than the opponent. So once again, you deal more damage, you dodge more damage, you win more fights. It's pretty straightforward, but it is a little bit limited in a couple areas. Firstly, it doesn't have a magazine, and secondly, long range, it does suffer a little bit because it is an SMG. So I've put together a couple alternative builds. I don't think these are really the best MP7 build options, but they are if they perhaps fit certain playstyles for you. So firstly, if you like to get up in people's faces, you like to get nice and close, you like hip firing, and you like doing it with as much movement speed as possible, the MP7 build we have here may be for you. Firstly, the muzzle booster for a bit more fire rate increase, and then the lightweight barrel and removed stock, so you have far better movement speed when not ADS. And then you have the front rail, which is the laser sight, so that you have better hip fire control. So you have a really fast moving hip fire option, and then we throw in a quick mag on there as well. You could choose a different optic if you want. Now the next build is going to be specifically focused on long range damage. If you feel like you're getting situations where you're just not quite doing enough damage because you're taking angles slightly longer range than the SMG allows, but you really like the MP7, then this one's for you. You go for the barrel extender and chrome lined, both of which are going to give you far better long range damage, so the damage fall off isn't going to be as bad. And then you've got the angled grip. This one's going to give you better ADS stability mostly, which basically means your ADS isn't going to shake all over the place. And then a reflex sight. If you're aiming long range, then I feel like it's going to be important to have a reflex sight. And then just a quick mag. Pretty straightforward. So that's it. My main first #1 MP7 build, and then two alternatives if you don't like the first one. Let me know what you think. Give it a try and share your feedback with me in the comments. I'll see you there. Cheerio.